Side of things though, so this is not like a do or die situation, but it is a huge milestone to get, because like for every one set you win in winners, whoever loses has to play twice as many sets in losers. So this is an opportunity to step into the top 3 for either Shuton or Gackt. We're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be real important whoever wins this set, man. Loser's bracket is just going to be really difficult at this stage in the bracket, man, because it's a loser's side, but you're in a loser's side top 8 with all of the rest of Japan's finest right here. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. So, especially this set, because right now we got Ness, Gackt, one of the finest Ness players to ever do it, going up against Shuton. Not a full Aegis main at this point, you know, still rocking with the Olimar when he has to, for sure. But, you know, definitely not going to be doing that for this matchup. I feel like Ness has, like, a lot of good ways to be able to contest against Olimar, especially, you know, with the height differential for sure. Ness historically struggles a little bit against sword characters, has a tiny stretch of that little bit of Mario factor, but Ness might have some different ways to break the zone than Mario does at this stage in the meta, so I'm going to be really anxious to see how these two players are going to be able to fare against each other right now. Loving the drag down with the up air right there to be able to get that damage once again, and then keeping the up air strings going to get up to 90%. I think this one's going to be a slobber knocker, Rickles. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, super fast-paced matchup between these characters. Like, Ness very explosive in his own right, and then speaking of explosive, we have Pyra on the stage here, and I've seen Gackt go in this matchup for a very long time. One thing I also noticed over time, oh, we got a brilliant up there right there. Over time, in this post-quarantine era for Japan Smash, 4 of their strongest players decided to pick up a Fighters Pass 2 character to co-main, and they're all very different. So we have Ken with Sonic and Sephiroth, we have Proto Banham with Lucina and Min Min, but then we also have Gackt with a forward air off the side right there, taking the third person I was going to mention, Shuton, with Olimar and Pyra, Mythra, and then lastly T, who's at this tournament as well. We're going to see in Winter Semis next with Kazuya and Pac-Man. It's very impressive to see that all of them picked up a secondary that are very strong and competent in tournament.
I'm sure you all remember yesterday the set that me and Skiff casted where we had ourselves a literal 50-second game against Orex, the Captain Falcon player in this region, against T. You know how destructive that character can be, but ain't no Kazuya on screen right now, at least not yet. We got the one right before that in the Aegis. And now we got Gackt, like, holding down a pretty solid lead, and just as I say that, the up tilt going to do it. You're going to see reverse up tilts with Pyra, with Shuton's Pyra, quite a bit. You know, a big thing about Pyra is just, you know, conditioning. A big thing about Aegis, I should say, is conditioning with Mythra and then switching to the Pyra and then forcing your opponent to adapt off the fly. We are going to see a lot of crazy air dodge reactions and frame traps created on the part of Shuton. He's amazing at doing that with his character. Like, he frame traps in situations where you didn't even think this opponent had to air dodge. I'm not talking about necessarily being jailed, but I am talking about situations in good conditioning where Shuton could just force you to air dodge at a time where you're going to think you wanted to, a time where you felt like you had to, but it's a time where he forced you to have to. Especially with a character like this, as slow as Pyra is, you know. It's an amazing thing to do regardless with the raw power of the character, but you already know the deal, Rickles.
Yeah, I'm loving the pacing of this game as well. An excellent back and forth, both of them staying within the same window of percent. And I did mention that in this matchup, Gackt has plenty of experience in it. We saw at the Invitational, I think Gackt actually suffered a Game 5 loss to Jin, but then also ended up 3-0ing Cosmos in the same matchup, in the same pool. So that's definitely got to be like used to these playstyles. And so far, Shuton getting the stock up here in this game 1. Gackt has to make a play here.
Ness is such an outlier, man. He's got a little bit of that Mario factor to him where he just struggles against swords and he's small with a red hat, but he's got a pretty fast forward there that helps him against sword characters like that. Mario can't exactly run in and do exactly what he just did on the platform. He'd have to do it with like a down air or something instead. So the pressure that Ness is able to mount on these sword characters, I feels like helps Ness keep a little bit more relevant in the meta than some would argue a character like Ness should be. But the Foresight actually going to get away and then run right back into the lingering fire hitbox of the PK Fire. That was really funny. Trying to stuff out the PK Flash as well, yeah, with the side B of Pyra right there.
No character can do that quite like Mythra. I mean, the only other one that would have an option would be Bayonetta with the bat within, but like, here we are. Gackt actually clawing their way back into this game. One good opening away from just destroying them, and looking for it right there, because I mentioned it. Ooh, the spacing was really good too.
Can't make this stuff up. Gonna utilize the up throw at that awkward mid-high percent to be able to get a follow-up. That's gonna do it, though. The down tilt to the up air. Clean confirm. Keep your distance with that sword. Gonna do it against Ness. Too much hit stun at that high percent to be able to neutral air out. You know that a Ness player of this caliber is not gonna be going for something like that at this stage of the game. So solid stuff to Shuton. Able to take that stock right at the very end of that right there. We're going right back to Pokemon Stadium 2. I feel like this stage might be pretty good for either of these opponents, because Mythra's got a lot of crazy setups on the platform. I believe just yesterday we saw Shuton get a really good, just hard down smash. Not even a grounded one, because as we all know, you can't take grounded spikes in this game. A down air spike with Pyra through the platform, just popped him right above where the platform was, and Shuton didn't even have to move, and it was still able to confirm into the up smash. Not even a grounded one that you couldn't tech, like one that you could tech, just didn't off of the platform. But Ness also has a lot of, like, you know, Ness has a little bit more distance. Like, he's not going to get overwhelmed by Mythra on a stage like this. Pokemon Stadium 2, I feel like, is just big enough where Ness will be able to contest with some of his own hitboxes. It's not like Smashville, you know? Oh, God.
Oh, and I think it's going to be it. Yeah, there we go. Amazing pickup right there. Just falling asleep a little bit too hard, autopiloting and catching those, intercepting the recovery options there. And just as you mentioned, Ness is one of the few characters in the game that I actually actively ban PS2 against, just because a lot of Nesses will practice that combo starting PK Fire off the platform, and I think it does wonders for Ness as a character. So I prefer to fight Ness on like flatter stages with like no platform setups for the most part, which is really hard to do because a lot of them have platforms. But here we are, incredible start here, and just riding the momentum, catching already 40+% of extra credit here.
I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing, my friend. Not to mention that, you know, on a smaller stage, if they were able to go to that, I feel like Mythra would be able to overwhelm Ness a lot easier on a stage like that. In theory, for sure. And now we have Gackt with the lead out here once again, 117%. Not trying to be too committal, utilizing a lot of those, like, rising double jump forward airs right there to try to keep pressure on Shuton while being as non-committal as he possibly can. But the good back air catch on the platform, knowing exactly where Shuton was going to go. Going to keep that going, but foresighting out of the PK Fire again, Rickles.
Yeah, and just barely hanging on for dear life. Their max rage back throw, not quite enough, but the up smash will catch them. 3 stocks to 1. This is Gackt's game in the bag, essentially, unless Shuton can make some plays here.
You got Pyra F-tilt from center stage, not even really getting Ness towards the blast zone right there. And there you go, the lingering PSI magnet. We got the hitbox of that out. Ness can do some crazy extensions with that, as I'm sure a lot of you players are used to seeing. I like the PK flash there to keep the pressure on, to just give himself a hitbox on the ledge, just carve his way back to the ledge. But unfortunately for Gackt, it's not going to matter as Shuton's able to take the stock regardless. But he's still got a mountain to climb, Rickles. Oh!
And we saw that kind of happen in game 1 where they opted for the up air combo into the PK Thunder 2. And that's usually a setup into people who are going to panic. But I just think that Shuton, you know, basically having arguments for being a top 10, maybe even top 5 player in the world and one of the best players in Japan, you can't really afford to do that in winners semifinals. Like, you can catch people in pools, maybe top 16, top 32, but this is winners top 8, man. You can't be going for those huge plays that you went for that cost you game 1, by the way.
I love the aggression from Gackt right there. You're up a stock. You want to take advantage of your opponent, call out options when you have to. You don't want to just camp when you're in the lead because that's not always going to be effective. Trying to stuff out the Mythra side B with the forward air, but not able to get the hitbox out in time. And as a result, we got the advantageous state from Pyra once again, but reversing the situation is Gackt. And gets the stock with that beautiful coverage from the ledge. That's Ness bread and butter, baby. Utilize the rising double jumps, the awkward floatiness of the character, that really quick frame data of the neutral air to keep that pressure on. It doesn't matter if you're like one of the better characters in this game, like Mythra Pyra. You got that exploitable recovery at the end of the day. You know Ness is going to take advantage of that every day in the week, Rickles. Every day of the week.
Yeah, the difference between game 1 and 2 were night and day right there, whereas Shuton was consistently just like holding a small lead the entirety of the game. But the moment that Gackt got the stock lead in this game, it was just a big snowball effect, and it just got away. Because every time you miss on Ness and every time you miss on Gackt, you're going to eat a close quarters answer back. We saw a lot of nairs, a lot of forward airs, a lot of back airs, and then just catching them on the ledge options with like up smash and stuff like that. So incredible stuff right there. Let's see if Gackt can continue this pressure by getting the stock lead. But so far, Shuton is doing a great job of taking the lead.
I wonder if, starting to wonder if Shuton is going to be a little bit more careful with his photon edges off the level, because Ness can't stuff that out with forward air if he's not careful. We saw Gackt try to end the previous game with that right there, as well as the blazing ends in neutral, but those are bridges we're going to have to cross when we come to them, of course. Turnaround grab, going to keep the pressure on, immediately switching to Mythra, so you don't even have to worry about going for a hard read tech chase on the part of Pyra right there. Much easier to do with Mythra. That's the benefit of having 2 characters in one, especially 2 amazing characters like Aegis for sure. And as a result, we have the lead firmly in the favor of Shuton right now, but not if Gackt has anything to say about it.
I'm definitely with you on that one. Here we are, very high percent for both characters. Not going to opt for a charging smash attack there, knowing that you can't give away those. You can't like, overextend on those options because it could be too obvious. You got to save them for those times that you haven't been doing them in a while. You got to condition them to think, I'm not going to do it yet. So doing it on the first try doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Only as a mix-up every once in a while. But here we are, looking for the first stock for both players. The Nair is not going to take the stock despite the DI not being perfect there.
That was kind of crazy. Like, that was like, he was like literally like a few centimeters above the ledge. Above the stage, I should say, as that's going to take the stock. And he immediately switched to Pyra off of the ledge. And was able to get a neutral air hitbox out just in the nick of time. You know he labbed that. You know he had to do that, because he got that hitbox out as low as he possibly could have.
Yeah, really good stuff right there on the spacing and positioning from Shuton. And now answering right back is Gackt, keeping it 0-0, keeping it close and respectable. You don't want to get the lead to get away from you too much. And already racking up 70%. This is a great spot to be in if you're Shuton, but no overextending there with a maybe like it could be Mythra's like only laggy option in the game, honestly. that neutral B.
Yeah, the lightning buster, of course, you already know it. But once you hit with that move, it's gonna combo and do a lot more knockback than you think. But Gackt a little too smart to fall for that at this stage in the game, as we got ourselves a dead even game, I should say. Not going for the air dodge read because the percentage was not exactly what he wanted it to be, but not to say that it wouldn't have necessarily hit.
Oh!
That was with the weak hit, not able to get the strong one out. No one dies in that scenario, Rickles. That was so awkward.
Gackt is suffering right now. Sitting at 129, the up tilt is gonna take that stock, and Shuton sitting very comfortable right now, doesn't have to forfeit the stock anytime soon. Let's see how much damage he can get on this. But oh, amazing combo starter right there, down air into the back air. Two of Ness's most meaty hits. Oh no!
You're nuts. You're crazy for that.
That is too brave.
Not even with the back air either. Like, he turned that around with the PSI magnet, like, just to turn his body around and then got the forward air out instead. That low. Off of a double jump, that was nuts. That was pure confidence, Rickles.
Yeah, most Nesses die for less. They're like going down there, a stock down against Pyra Mythra was beyond brave, and I don't think you deserve to be alive right now, but the execution from Gackt and the drop from Shuton is like, it's just incredible right now, because I think we could have seen like a rinse and repeat from Shuton with like the Mythra up B just furthering the extension right there to the point where you could edge guard them. But this what if doesn't even matter, because Gackt closed it out, made it even stocks, and now we have a close game.
I mean, if you can hit the character off stage in that perfect spot, especially out of moves like Photon Edge and whatnot, or if you're able to get Pyra off the ledge far enough to the point where Prominence Revolt is not going to be able to make it back! That was, okay. Your bolt for that was a little too committal. It was just a tad too committal. Unfortunately for Ness players, PK Thunder 2, it's got a little bit of lag if you're with it, you know, and, you know, Pyra Mythra, they have a long sword. They're going to be able to counter that for sure, but my goodness, do I respect that option. I would have screamed if that hit.
If it says anything to me, it's just it just speaks largely on the limitations of Ness. It's just like, you are down in the game, you want to make a big play, but the thing is like, you are, again, in top 6 of a bigger tournament fighting one of the best players in the business. It's just like, you're not going to get away with those, like, maybe you'll get away with one a set, maybe, but against, like, a player of this caliber, I really don't, like, think it's worth going for. I think you just got to, like, chip away, because I think if Gackt did end up finding, like, maybe 2 openings, they could have definitely, like, closed the game in their favor. Whereas, again, I guess Shuton could have just played it safe, stayed positioned and a lot better, and then, I don't know, it could have worked out for them. But that's what I was talking about right there. The rinse and repeat that could work right there, and that shortens the recovery.
What a gorgeous 0 to death. I was gonna say, off of, like, the repeat back airs, the edge guard that we saw from Shuton right there, I was surprised we didn't see a Ray of Punishment true combo immediately, but that's because he waited. He knew that Gackt was gonna recover low there because of the pressure he was mounting off the level. Speaking of pressure mounting off the level... Speaking of pressure mounting off the level, Rickles, what was he cooking indeed? Is the blazing end gonna try to cook Ness off the level? Full pun intended right there, nothing doing. But we waited for the Ray of Punishment instead because he knew that Ness was gonna recover low because he was just body blocking him and body blocking the ledge. Really good patience and good awareness coming out from Shuton, as I say, right before he SD'd.
That is just something so funny about Pyra Mythra just being the one to do that. Like, I've seen so many Pyra Mythra just fall, just like trying to go for those like stylish like offstage interactions when they don't even need to. And now it's an even game for no good reason.
Mayhaps Shuton just expected like an air dodge or something, or maybe he thought like, there's no way he thinks I'm gonna do something this stupid. Sometimes it happens. Literally, the higher level the play is, sometimes the scrub mix-ups work. Because you never expect a good player to go for something that stupid. I mean, obviously that doesn't work most of the time. It's just on par with very good conditioning, which you know both these players are very talented at. But either way, you know, he wound up SDing, unfortunately, is the knockback from the back throw not going to do it from that position of the stage. A little bit closer to the ledge, or another one certainly will. Prominence Revolt, you're doing that a little too much by the ledge, but it's working because the rising hitbox just stuffing out the yo-yo every single time. Rinse and repeat. We live in Rickles. Never mind. No, we're not.
Yeah, we are not living after that. Overextending the side B, but still, regardless, you know, 40% off of the ledge after that planking. I didn't even know they could plank like that. I mean, I knew Pyra could do the uppies over and over, but like, I think sooner or later the yo-yo was gonna hit, and they were feeling it. So the side B was definitely a good option to rack up the damage. But right now, Shuton might end up paying for just like overextending so far in this game so far. But dang, dude, that was
wonder how popular Ed and Nettie was in Japan, because my man was just straight planking. Crazy.
That'd be awesome if it was actually like a watch show there. That's gonna be
right?
huge damage, dude. And anytime that hits, it's like it zooms in on the screen. It's like additionally like mental damage for the most part. So we'll see if Gackt can bring this to a game 5 now. Just making it ever closer to a game 5 opportunity. Again, just like 1 or 2 openings away. But like honestly, now I don't think I have a jump.
At the neutral B, not even needed, because there's the down air. A rising down air, rather than a sinking one. That's the kind of stuff you like to see. The safe pressure by the ledge, the power of the Aegis, as our girl Pyra is going to say. You already know. Rising down airs, the truth. Falling down airs, not the truth. When you don't have a double jump. Good stuff on the part of Shuton, advancing over to, I believe, winners finals. Gonna wait to the winner of T and Ken, which is who I believe we got coming up next. Yeah,
that is the next winner's semifinal match, and that also pushes Gackt in the loser's bracket.